Welcome back to another episode of In the Garage, Kit Reviews.
Here comes Tiger 131, rumbling into a theater near you. Now this is all completely stickered. It's got all the features that I've talked about before, including a folding antenna and whatnot. And let's review all the crazy little details about this tank, because there's a lot, actually. So let's start off with the turret. The turret has been totally redesigned, as you saw with the other Tiger, which the design is taken from just the same way. The entire turret, the gun mantlet, it definitely looks more realistic. It's got the 3-point harness as well, so where you take this little piece is what you do. You take off the storage basket off the back, just pop this one piece off, and then you add it into the storage basket, and then you reinstall it. And then now you can take Lego chains or the string with hooks or whatnot. You can hook them on all 3 points, and then you can lift the turret straight out. So that's kind of one of those features that was built in. Now normally in the real Tiger, this does have this gap here. It's not a straight solid box, so that just adds another little piece of detail here. And like I think I pointed out in the last one, the commander's cupola has been moved back into this corner because it's actually right on the edge of the turret, and this is as close as I could get it. Trust me, I wanted to get it right to the edge like the real thing, but just not quite. So it's back further, and because I had to do that, I had to rebuild the entire turret instead of using the solid pieces like you saw in the last video. So anyway, all the hatches do open. Now you can fit technically 5 guys in here in this Tiger, which would be, I don't know if that's a first or whatnot, but the hatches open the way they're supposed to. And yes, this actually swings at more of an angle, so it opens toward the loader, but it actually kind of swings a little bit behind him. So, but this is Lego. We don't have those kind of options, so you can do that with your guys. So as far as the turret goes, that was it. Oh yeah, I got the smoke throwers on the sides of the turret back. Originally in my previous Tiger, I had them right up in the corner. That's as close as I could get it, but now I was able to get it back where it should, closer to where it should be. Probably should be just a smidge back further, but that's as far back as I could get it. Now another cool feature with this is if you pinch the turret, you can lift it out with the basket. Let's talk about this crazy upper hull. Now, one of the things about the upper hull is, which I've seen on a lot of Tigers, is the gunner and the driver viewport are too far apart, and they're actually more toward the center of the tank, and that if you see on real ones. Now, what I couldn't do, these hatches also are further out, but if you open it on the hinge plate, it's going to stick. You're going to be having this hinge plate right on the side of the tank, and that just doesn't look great. So pretty much there's no choice. You have to leave these where they are. Now normally for the Tiger is the gunner and the driver, they're offset from the hatches. So if you see in movies where the guys are just standing straight up, they don't stand straight up. They're not right below the hatches. They're offset, so they have to kind of climb out a bit to get to those hatches to get out. So the driver's actually kind of down at an angle in there. And that same with the gunner and radio operator, MG radio operator, he's down in there. And that, so they're just offset from those hatches. So that is a real thing. So don't be fooled by the imitators out there. And I got a brown shovel to go with that. And also, Tiger 131 did have track attached to the front of the hull, so I did the same thing. Of course, got the Afrikakorps logo on the front corner there. The Balkan Kreuz on the side. And I think that's pretty much it. Just another Balkenkreuz on the side. Of course, the turret has 131 on the sides and the back and the basket. Oh, another thing about the turret, which I did say in the other video, was I was actually able to use a Lego piece for the loading hatch, which it's actually not a loader's hatch. This is actually where they brought in it's an ammo resupply hatch, but the loader could use it as an escape hatch as well. So because this sucker is really heavy, so once it flips down, so once they drop it down, you probably need a couple of guys to push it back up into the locked position. Another thing too I forgot to mention about the barrel is I changed the barrel mount. So this is actually a different system than what I've seen used, so I'd use some different parts on that. So actually, and it's got a pretty good angle. So, and the other thing is to the barrel, which I pointed out before, this is actually what's labeled as the brick arms, the Panther muzzle brake. Now I drilled out the center wider, and I also drilled out the hole. I cut off the pin, which I showed you in the previous muzzle brake video, and then drilled out the center so it'll take a bar. A bar can go through it. So the way this gun fit together, it was perfect. So totally happy with that, and that's basically my Tiger modification going forward. Those other black ones, like I said in the previous video, they're way too big for the scale of the vehicle. This is totally what looks the best, and it's totally a realistic scale size for the tank. So, sorry, forgot those other things to say about the turret. Anyway, back to the upper hull. So, another big thing is, of course, the tow cables. I just put a couple of plates here, so just to kind of hold the rope. You kind of have to kind of shape the string a little bit better so it'll stay down. Another thing which is commonly not done well is the engine hatch, which actually opens from front to back. It does not open the other way, which you see on pretty much, I would say, almost every Tiger that's been done out there. Very few guys have actually done it this way, where they have the hatch opening the right direction. This is the only Tiger that has this air filter system on the back here, which is basically all the tubes running out and then the air filters on the corner here because of the dusty conditions they were in. I mean, if you know anything about car mechanics, if you get dust and stuff in your engines, well, that's just going to wreck your engine. And that once it gets in the pistons, it just scrapes the walls up. It gets, so much grit in there will just wear out your rings, and then you got oil leaking. It's just nasty. So they had to come up with a filtration system to get some clean air into that engine. Of course, as I said before, the other thing too is, which I've not seen on a Tiger so far, is the aerial that actually folds down. So it's able to do a simple design on that, so it works well. Another detail which you may or may not know is typically what's done on the front plate here. Let me just angle this up actually. Is the front plate is normally what's been done is 1x6 tiles have been used on either side of this front part of the tank, including the fender covers here. Well, here's a picture just showing what these look like. It's a two-piece process. Basically, the outside edge here folds in, and then this whole thing folds up. So I decided to add that little detail in there because I don't like the look of just having all those tiles straight across. It looks crappy, honestly, to me. It looks cheap. It looks lazy is what it does. So this one, they will actually, you can't fold it up, but if you wanted to, you could kind of pinch it in there a little bit. But this actually mounts on the front, so you could take it off because there are enough pictures showing Tigers without this front corner on. So that is just one of those other little detail things, just so you know. So that is the upper hull. Now popping it apart, I use two hands, and that grab it on the outside with one and pull it off with the other. So now we have the interior. So this is where the basket mounts to. You got your driver and your gunner here. Just put a little temperature gauges and stuff, steering wheel there, because the Tiger does have a steering wheel. Also change the color of the exhaust pipes on this model, because they were a rusty kind of reddish brown color. So I did the same thing with those. So looks a little more realistic. And this engine is actually colored and modeled after Tiger 131 in Bovington, and does have the red caps on top, the black part of the fuel tanks there, and then the radiator, and then the cooling fans. Now, the cooling fans each have sticker on both sides. Those are actually stickered. And the engine, of course, has been redone. The air filter housings here are different, because kind of looking at the picture of the Maybach, what is it, the L210, they changed it up, I think, to the 240. I think the 210 had 3 air filters, and then the 240 had 2. So that's what this is, a little bit later version, but this is 1943 when these Tiger tanks came to the desert. So now that is pretty much it as far as that goes. The other thing is with the stickers as well. The kit will come with all the wheels done, which is basically what you're looking at. And then also I added in the gear, the front sprocket, kind of give it that extra little realistic look to it. So just kind of came down a little bit on the teeth there, so it doesn't look too weird. But so that gives it that final, real look to it. So it really makes it stand out. So now I'll show you what I was talking about the engine removal. Now the Kurt Nispel Tiger will actually have a little more stuff to it. It doesn't have as pricey parts on it as this one does. So it's kind of even out between them. But there's something I really want to do a little special with that other one. But now let me show you what the deal is with this one. So if we lift up the hatch. So with the engine removal tool, you just take it, you push it down right. It goes on each side of the air filter. You have to make sure that you feel it push in there and click. Then when you've got it, and that now you can grab, if you can grab the chain there, then you lift up on it, and voila, the engine comes out. So now there you've got your Tiger engine. This is vehicle recovery, or your vehicle repair in the field right there. Is that you can take it, and of course you can always put it back in there. Just got to angle it in there a bit. If I can get it in there again, because I got it out. And then you push it back in there and just pop off the tool. So there you have it. There is. I just did an engine replacement. Oh my. And that on this Tiger. So anyway, I'm working on a gantry actually, which is a real thing that they actually would do to remove the turret, and then stick it all back together again, put the Tiger tank all back together again, so they could do more in-field repairs. So that is the Tiger 131. A lot of detail in this kit, more than I've seen, and really thrilled with this kit, how it turned out. So glad I made the modifications and that it's just a real winner. Like I said, this engine removal tool, it's really easy to build, and it'll come with the Kurt Nispel Tiger. So that's Tiger 301, which is gearing up for the Battle of Kursk, and you'll see that with that kit, because I didn't see any gantries, which is a picture of it here. I'll just show you what it looks like in the field where they do the repairs. So that's what I'm working on, with a winch system and stuff, so you can actually pop that turret off, and actually if you're doing a mock, it's going to look just absolutely sweet. So anyway, that is it for now. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.